Hey guys, welcome back to Smash Poetry. This time we're doing parables, which technically aren't even poetry, but shut up. It's close enough, right? In ancient times, a king had a boulder placed on a roadway. Then he hid himself and watched to see if anybody would remove the huge rock that he had seen. Some of the king's wealthiest men, couriers, came by and walked around it. Many loudly blamed the king for not keeping the roads clear, but none did anything about getting the stone out of the way. Then a peasant came along with vegetable plates. Upon approaching the boulder, the peasant laid down his burden and tried to move it further to the side of the road. And after much pushing and straining, he did it, yo. And after that peasant picked up his load, he noticed a purse filled with gold and a note from the king indicating that the gold was for the person who removed the boulder off the scene. The peasant then learned what it meant to take opportunity. I don't know. Next parable, yo. There was a frog hopping around in a farmyard, yeah, when he decided to investigate this barn that he'd saw. What happened now? Well, being careless and maybe too curious, he ended up falling into a pail of milk. And as he swam without attempting to reach the top, he noticed that the sides were too high, too steep to reach. He tried to stretch his back legs and push up the bottom of the pail, but it was too deep. This frog was determined not to give up, not to give in, and he continued to struggle. He kicked and squirmed and kicked and squirmed and kicked the puddle until at last all of his churning about in the milk had turned that milk into a hunk of butter. The butter was solid enough for him to get out of. That was great. What's the message? Never give up. Hooray. Next parable? Sure thing. One day a wealthy father took his son on a vacation to the countryside so the son could see how poor people live. They spent a day and they spent a night at this farm of this people without even lights, and when they got back from their trip, the father asked his son,
"How was it?"
He said, "Very good, Dad."
"Did you see how poor people can be?"
The son said, "Yeah."
"And what did you learn?"
The son answered that we have a dog at home, and they have 4. We have a pool that reaches to the middle of garden. They have a creek that has no end. That's it. That was kind of a dumb parable. That's dumb. That's absolutely stupid. Next parable. A young salesperson was disappointed. He had lost an important sale important. In discussing the matter with the sales manager, the young man shrugged. "I guess," he said, "it just proves you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink and swallow." "Son," said the sales manager, "let me give you a piece of advice for ya. Your job is to not make him drink, it's to make him thirsty, so he buys what you said. That is the end. Next one then, creative thinking. Some time ago I received a call from a colleague. He said he knew me. He was about to give a student a 0 for his essay to a physics question, but the student claimed he had a perfect score. The instructor asked the student to explain, and the student said, "Okay then." He read with an exclamation mark, "Show how it is possible to determine the height of a tall building with the aid of a barometer." The student had answered, "Take one barometer to the top, attach a long rope to it, let it drop, then bring it back up and measure the length of the rope. The length of the rope is the height of the building, yo." The student really had a strong case. He had a high grade. Okay, thank you for coming to this week's Smash Poetry session. I hope to see you all here next week. We're going to be talking about limericks. No one's going to show up.